Today, we're talking about volume. So we have, last week we started with surface area, which is just how much area covers the outside of the shape. Volume is how much fills inside the shape. So how could we measure how much goes into the shape?
Times width times height.
Okay, well, last chapter, when we did like rectangles, well, a couple chapters ago, when we did areas of rectangles, how did we measure the area of a rectangle? Yeah, it's how many square units fit inside, right? Like if this had 6 by 5, then it had 30 square units, right?
Well, you do that really good.
So in a three-dimensional object, what units would we use? Cubes. So the question is, how many cubic units fill inside a 3D solid? What calls it a solid?
You just did say
Okay, so the way we're going to do it is figure out how many units cover the base, which would be the same as the area, right? Like the number of square units that cover a rectangle would be the number of cubic units that fit on top of that rectangle, right? So the base area is 6 times 5 is 30. That means 30 of these little cubes would fit on the ground floor. But then if there's 10 floors, you would just multiply that by 10. Right? So here's our general formula for today. The volume of a rectangle, of any prism, is the area of the base. So capital B means all this area times the height of the prism. Okay, area of the base times height of the prism. Now, if it's a rectangle, how do we find the area of the base? 6 times 5, length times width, right? So if it's a rectangular prism, it's really just length times width times height. Simple, easy peasy. But what if it was a triangular prism? How would we find that one? Yeah.
Why is it that way?
Base times height.
Wouldn't it just be easier to say length times width times height?
That's what I said.
I know, but like instead of BH, why?
Because not every prism is rectangular. Actually, almost none of them are. So, what if it was a triangular prism?
base times height over 2 for the base. And
Yeah, so if I do a little b, that means like the side of the triangle. The big B stands for the entire area. Okay, so there's a difference there. Little h stands for the height of the triangle, big H stands for the height of the prism. So yeah, if you're doing a triangle area, you would have to do base times height divided by 2. Okay, that gives you the base area. But then you do that area times the height of the entire prism, and that would give you the volume. Does that make sense? So in general, it's the area of the base times the height of the prism. But depending on what the base is, you might have to do different things. So if the base is a triangle, you have to use the triangle formula. If the base is a hexagon, what formula did we use for hexagons?
1/2 times bottom times perimeter.
Right. So it might be 1/2 apothem perimeter times height. But anyways, the area of the base times height.
For everything.
For all these prisms and cylinders, yeah. So if it's a cylinder, what would we do?
Pi r squared.
Yeah, pi r squared times height, because pi r squared is the area of the circular base times the height of the cylinder. All right, number 1. Yeah, volumes are actually a lot easier than surface area. It's a little bit less work. How could we find the volume of a cube? Okay, but what's special about a cube though?
They're all the same.
They're all the same. So instead of like, remember when we did square areas, we said like area equals side squared? So on this one, they just said volume equals edge cubed. Because all the edges of a cube have to be the same. Okay, B, you guys just said B. How do we find the cylinder?
IR squared times
Right. Square prism. Square prism means the base is a square. It's kind of like number 3. The base is a square, but the height is not.
side squared times height.
Right. What letters did they use? Yeah, they did use those letters actually. Side squared times height. Where the sides are the sides of the base. Alright. D. Triangular prism. We talked about that one too. How do we find the area of a triangle?
Base times height over 2
Yeah.
times the height.
Yeah. You could also, instead of base times height divided by 2, you could also do 1/2 base times height. I don't really care, I'm just letting you know. So 1/2 base times height times height of the prism.
Don't be racist. I'm building and I've done this for you.
Paxton, you learned not to be racist in that song.
Yes.
It changed his life.
I once was a racist.
Last Tuesday.
Wait, what's the opposite of a racist? Like a non-racist?
Sure.
Say it loud.
I feel like there's like a word for it, but I don't know.
And everything's, is it cubed? So would you put?
Oh yeah. I had mentioned that. Yeah, when you write a volume, it's like meters cubed or something. Okay, so on number 3, there's a square prism. How would we find the area of the square base?
Side squared.
Right, so it's just 3 times 3 for the area of the base times the height of the prism, which is 9. So 3 times 3 is 9 times 9.
Oh, wait.
So it's 81. Yeah, we're supposed to label these meters cubed because it's a 3-dimensional measurement, unlike areas.
What do you got for it?
Everybody has like a little bit.
3 times off.
Facts.
Like even if it's the tiniest bit, everybody's got a little bit of racism.
It's straight and
So on 4, what? They already give you the base, so do you just do 132 times
A little bit racist.
Yeah. So on number 4, the base is irregular. So they just found it for you. Like that's why it says capital B. It's not there. So yeah, you just do the area of the base times height. Okay, number 5 is a triangular prism. So how do we find the area of that triangle?
What's your favorite prism?
Shh. How do we find the area of that triangle?
Base times height over 2.
Okay, what's the base of the triangle?
9.
9. What's the height of the triangle?
24 y.
Height of the triangle?
2.
2.
Shut up, Timothy.
So for just the little triangle, you have to look kind of at the bottom of the prism for the base is 9. And then you have to look at the top of the prism to find the heights 2. So just for the triangle, it's 9 times 2 divided by 2. But then we have to multiply that by the height of the prism. 24. What's going to happen to the times 2 divided by 2?
Cancel on.
So 9 times 20, it comes out as 216 feet cubed.
I like this one.
You approve?
Huh?
So Linux approved. On number 6, not that it matters that much, you can use this trick even on like slanted, I think they call them oblique or something. Slanted prisms, the height of those on number 6 is not the side of the prism, it's just that 12. Anyway, just do the same formula like number 3. Doesn't matter if it's leaning over, you still use the height. Alright, number 7. Okay, this one we've got to kind of think about a little bit. Cause what are we missing to find the base area on number 7?
Height of the base.
Height. Okay. Now, there's kind of a trick. Remember this is a 60-degree angle?
Yep.
So if this is 8, what's this right here? 4, and this one was. So when we go to find the area of the triangle, it's 1/2 base times height. So it's 1/2 times 8 times 4 squared root of 3. Okay. Now, there is a formula for equilateral triangles, and so if you don't like the special triangle trick, I guess you could try to remember this. It's side squared times square root of 3 over 2. That would give you the area of a triangle also. I kind of figured that would be hard to remember, so I just kind of skipped it, but anyways.
Yeah, I feel like after the test that was way stuck in my mind.
Anyways, yeah, so that's the area of just the triangle, so we need to multiply that times the height of the prism on 7 is 26.
You get a number.
You won't. You have water in your mouth. I was trying to squirt.
Do not.
My God, did that say what?
You know what she did to me? You know what Whitley did to me in like 7th grade? She was
I
like,
forgot about it.
what does a dog, what sound does a dog make? And then she did like a bunch of animals, and then she's like, what does a whale make? She took a drink, I was like, I don't know, and she goes, and spits the water all over me.
That was so funny.
That was not funny.
That was hilarious.
No.
You think that
And
is
then I think I
bad?
got Jaden Ballard too.
Actually, they kind of make it like a
Yeah, you got other
whining
people
sound.
for him, and then
Yeah, I was a menace in middle school.
I don't know who
That's why your name got on the board.
No, I was literally talking about math that day, Mr. Jordan. You don't understand the embarrassment when Carson comes home and he was like, you got your name on the board? Even though his name was on the board every other day. Well, even
Bro, I just remember like
It's
at
like,
the end
if
of
you
the
got
day.
in trouble, you got your name on the board. And
But,
it
like,
either
what
meant
did-
the
what
points
did that
you got,
even do?
Or you
Like-
had to do an extra problem.
What punishment do you get for your name on the board?
That hurt my heart, that's
Embarrassment?
what it did.
I usually gave him an extra
Slapping
problem
someone
assignment.
goes
I
like
thought
that.
we were Corey White. I think it's on the
I
Like,
ball.
just like every
That
day,
only
like,
hurt
in
my-
elementary school, like,
Not
just
only
like
did you
sit
give
out
me
in
an
the
extra
hall,
point, that hurt my heart.
just like
that
waiting
couldn't
for
be.
school.
Yeah, we talked about
And
this.
then my
many
mom would
times.
be there and just like, hi.
Okay,
it should
you could either just plug all this in and spit out a decimal, or you could leave like square root of 3 in the answer. Either one. The decimal version is 720.5. I think this one's centimeters. Yeah. Okay. Number 9. How are we going to find the area of that base?
1/2 awesome.
There you go. Yeah, 1/2 apothem perimeter. So the apothem, they tell us, it's that little blue thing. It's 18.1. Perimeter though. How are we going to find the perimeter of the base?
15 times 1.
Yeah, it's an octagon. 15 times 8 gives us the perimeter of the base. So we got 1/2 times apothem 18.1 times, well, whatever 15 times 8 is, times the height of the prism, which is 34.
15 times 8 is 120.
Anyway, just plug all that in, that'll give you the. I'll let you guys do it. How about that?
What?
Mr. Jordan.
Scammer by day, scammer by night.
In there, you do. What do you want?
Scammer by day.
You give me another
I hope she types it wrong and we both get it wrong.
That's hurtful.
Wow. You guys took the
Cats.
Mr. Jordan, if you were to be reborn, what race would you not want to be?
Okay, copy off there. Whitley's being.
That's a terrible question.
Not really.
Well, I'd probably choose based on what country I'd be likely to be born in and try to
Probably
avoid
wouldn't
that.
want to be like Russia.
I wouldn't be all
Like, I wouldn't want to be North Korean.
Wait, which Indian?
India.
Oh, okay.
Which
Yeah, I
does
feel
like
like there's
I was about to pop up on you,
There's
bro.
better food you could get. There's better food you can get other places.
Bro, like Native American food is trash. Like fried bread, like the one that my grandma makes every year because like we have like this annual like food day. It is terrible. It tastes like cardboard. It is so bad. We have to cut it with a steak knife because it's so hard. Like it tastes like cardboard.
Okay.
There you go.
Number 11. Okay. 11, 12, 13, those are all cylinders, so we have to do pi r squared for the base times the height. So the radius on 11 is 8. So 8 squared times pi times the height is 6. I'll probably just leave pi alone on this one like normal. So 8 squared is 64. 64 times 6 is 4 pi. Feet cubed.
Mr. Jordan. Arkham City or Arkham Asylum?
Okay, 13. What is the radius on number 13? Shh. Hush. What is the radius on 13? 12. Because they're pointing at a diameter, it's 24, so the radius is half of that. So when we do r squared, we're going to be doing 12 squared, not 24 squared. And then the height of the prism is 16. $144 times 16 is
When I was 4, I was drinking
It's still weird water.
and I got a virus. I was searching around here.
I got a virus. I got scared, so I stood up.
Alright. 15. Find the volume of a rectangular prism with a base area of 26 square feet. So that means they already found the base area for us, so we just need to take that base area times the height of the prism.
I want to know what goes through your guys' heads sometimes.
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, number 17 says, how many cubic foot boxes? What would a cubic foot box look like, by the way? It would be 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot.
By 1 foot.
Kind of have to use your imagination, but actually, back in middle school, remember I had one of these on the shelf.
I remember like when he first drew it, and Gianna and Skylar freaked out because he drew it so perfectly, and then they realized that it was super easy to draw.
It's a square.
But I also remember Mr. Smith or Mr. Steele teaching me how to draw it. I thought it was so cool.
Oh, remember when we had to do like shapes and circles and spheres?
I hated that.
In art.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just doodled what I wanted and kind of still do.
I was only
so number 17 says, how many cubic foot boxes would it fit in a 15 feet by 10 feet bedroom that is 8 feet high? Shh. How many cubic foot boxes would fit in a 15 foot by 10 foot bedroom that is 8 feet high?
Alright, let's see. 15.
1,200.
Well, let's see how.
Okay, how'd you figure that out?
Other boxes.
Did length times width.
Yeah, rooms are rectangular prisms, right?
Yes.
So you just multiply the two. Remember that time we found the area of the floor?
Yes. I hated that.
Multiply those two times the height of the room, and that gives you the cubic area, cubic feet. So that's all they did. Multiply those three together, and yeah, it does take 1,200 boxes. 1,200 cubic feet. Or 1,200 boxes. Okay, 19 might be a little bit of a challenge for us.
Have you ever seen 1200?
Mr. Jordan.
Did you go home and tell your parents you know what doozy is? Oh, man.
Mr. Jordan.
Hmm.
Mr. Jordan. Hi.
Call of Duty or Rainbow?
Call of Duty or what?
Rainbow Six Siege.
I'm gonna say COD.
Nah, I pick Rainbow.
Rainbow's more stressful. COD is more like
Racist.
Plus it has COD has way more like
But the problem with Rainbow is just they're all campers in Rainbow.
Okay, see if I can do all this okay.
the same thing. Call of Duty.
Kinda have to use your imagination on this one. That's not helping.
Don't worry, I have plenty of that.
Right.
You know what
Sometimes it scares people, but
Yeah, let's not
Battery. Battery.
We're
Good aim,
good.
good aim.
I don't know, he says it.
On
Have
the
you seen how he bleeds too?
do you have to
He's
find
upset.
like the triangle first and then you do the rectangle and then you add the Okay, cool.
This is the worst game I've seen in my 32 years of playing Rainbow.
Alright. So, what are we missing on 19 to be able to find the volume?
the top one.
Okay, we're missing the height, and what else?
The length.
Is it a
The
square?
width.
The width.
It's a square.
Missing the width. Okay, how could we find the width? It's not a square.
Could 45, 45.
No, not a square.
We need to find
Pythagorean theorem. Right, this corner has to be a 90-degree angle, right? So we can use Pythagorean. It's basically a triangle that's like 3, 5, blank. It's a right triangle.
3 squared plus W squared equals X 5 squared.
You guys remember this triangle? 3 blank 5?
Yeah.
What's the answer?
She definitely just lied.
No, I actually remember X squared.
What do you think it is?
I don't remember the answer, I forgot how to do it.
Matt?
16.
It's gonna be
4 and 4. Beat you. Beat you.
Yeah, I know that.
You're trying to kick me. Ow, stop!
Sorry.
Remember Pythagorean theorem, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's width, but how can I find the height?
Base times width.
No.
Base.
No.
Base times height minus base.
What
Divided by base.
is what's
Eight.
that 8 doing?
8, you can do Pythagorean theorem with 8,
Okay,
5.
what is the 8 doing?
That is the H1, the
Okay, it's going from
hypotenuse.
the top left corner on the front to the bottom right corner on the back.
It's the
Okay, what's being created right here?
Oh,
A triangle.
So it's 5 squared
Yeah.
plus X squared.
Not just a triangle, it's a
Right.
right triangle.
Right.
So you gotta use your imagination. It's cutting through the, like, diagonally through the,
5
prism.
squared plus X squared
Right.
equals 8 squared.
yeah, this is like the height of the prism. This is 5, this is 8. Okay, so we need to, yeah. 5 squared plus 8 squared, or sorry, H squared plus 8 squared. Okay, so H squared is 39, H is,
7.
Whoa.
Oh.
H is what?
7.
No.
Or no.
What's just happened?
Jaden.
I didn't do anything.
No,
Yeah.
somebody definitely just read it.
It was definitely good.
Bro, I've been sick.
I remember one time whenever
I bet it was
Jaden.
Atticus.
Is
I remember one
Is he
time.
in the office right now?
I don't know.
I remember whenever Jaden
Just
would
close
slam
the
the
door
door
too
super
hard.
hard and one of the tables collapsed.
Bro, sometimes I did that I would do that at my house and then my mom took off the door and I just had a curtain.
That's just cause, like, this table is about to collapse, too.
Jen, did you get mad at
You hit
school
your
or
knee
at
right
your
there and
house?
it folds up.
Timmy.
That's hard actually.
That could have hurt him.
Did you get mad at school more or at his house?
Well now it's definitely at my house more. But I don't get like super mad.
Okay,
To beat your
Super wow.
so,
I used to.
hush, hush. Now we have the length, the width, and the height, so you just multiply those together. I'd probably just leave the square, you could change it to a decimal, but I'd probably just leave that as square root of 39. So 3 times 4 is 12, that's area of the base, times the square root of 39 is 12 square root of 39. This one's feet. Put that right there.
Knew it.
Number 20 is pretty similar.
Can we do it together?
No.
Yeah.
Please.
I like Emily's confidence.
I'm sure I can do it.
However,
I'd be confident if you-
however misplaced it might be.
Mr. Jordan, what's
I
your
don't think trig math is
Mr. Jordan, what's your favorite memory as a child? Like what's a memory that just like you remember the most?
I don't know.
Playing Fortnite.
Mine is